Looking at live pictures out of Concord, New Hampshire right now, the Republican presidential race is in the hands of voters across the Granite State on this very important primary night here in the EP Official Election Center. My name is Ryan Guest. Voting is winding down in New Hampshire. We're about an hour away from the first results when most polling places will close across the state. There are certainly a lot of candidates to choose from, but following the results of last week's Iowa caucus, which, before I spoil it, you can check it out by clicking the link in the upper right-hand corner right now. I'll give you a few seconds. Former President Donald Trump holds an early delegate advantage over the field, based on EP officials' estimates of delegate allocations here so far. We project that Trump is in the lead with 19, followed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 10 delegates, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who finished firmly in third place in Iowa with 4 delegates, then former Vice President Mike Pence and former South Carolina Governor and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley both picked up 3 delegates each in Iowa. Businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and current North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum all share 1 delegate each. Polling has shown a slightly closer race between the former president and Governor DeSantis in the lead-up to this primary, though Trump has maintained a double-digit advantage throughout much of the campaign here in New Hampshire. The former president, Donald Trump, opted to skip the pre-primary debate at St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire on Friday, in a move many say was a display of confidence in his chances here tonight.
In everything I did, I put New Hampshire first and I put America first, everything.
And with anti-Trump voters in the Republican Party still divided over their chosen candidate, DeSantis tried to make his case as Trump's only viable competition in an attempt to clear the primary field before the Nevada and South Carolina primaries next month.
You can set your clock to January 20th, 2025 at high noon, because on the west side of the Capitol, I will have my left hand on the Bible, I will have my right hand in the air, and I will be taking the oath of office as the 47th President of the United States.
It has been a tense week, to say the least, after a dramatic start to the 2024 Republican primary calendar in Iowa. But the choice is in New Hampshire voters' hands right now as they head to the polls for the first primary of this cycle. We will be back with the first results right after the break. And take a look at this. We have our first key race alert of the night. Very, very early, less than 1% of the vote is in, but you can take a look at the numbers that have just been announced. Donald Trump is in first place with 38.6%, ahead of Ron DeSantis in second place with 26.7%. Tim Scott, 10.4%, he's in third. Chris Christie is at 7.1%, and Nikki Haley rounds out the top 5 at 6.6%. Remember, very, very early, just 2,807 votes are reporting right now. Trump leads DeSantis by 381 votes. It's 8 p.m. here on the East Coast. All the polls in New Hampshire are now closed. Let's get a key race alert. 27% of the estimated vote is in here. Donald Trump has extended his lead, 43.5% to Ron DeSantis' 24.1%. Chris Christie has moved up into third place now, 7.5%. Tim Scott is fourth with 7.3%. Nikki Haley, 6.1%. She's in fifth. 22 delegates at stake tonight. New Hampshire awards them to be bound proportionally to presidential contenders based on this primary vote. A 10% threshold of the total statewide vote is required in order to be allocated national convention delegates. That's the benchmark that candidates must hit here tonight in order to come away with any delegates at all. Right now, only Trump and DeSantis are above that mark. Christie, Scott, Haley, and Pence, the only other candidates who received multiple delegates in Iowa, are below 10% right now. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's in 7th place, and Doug Burgum in 8th, both received just one delegate in Iowa, and they're a ways away from 10%. Sixty-eight percent of the vote is now in. Donald Trump maintains his advantage here with 44.9%. Ron DeSantis with 23.3%. There is quite a large gap there between first and second place, but also between DeSantis and the rest of the field. Tim Scott, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley are all pretty close here in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As things stand right now, none of them will reach that 10% threshold to receive delegates tonight. 218,000 votes are reporting. We certainly appear to at least be on pace to shatter the turnout record set here in New Hampshire in 2016. Trump does lead DeSantis by 47,000 votes, and a margin similar to that he won with in Iowa. Mike Pence, with just 4.3% of the vote, is in 6th place, in what looks to be another disappointing performance in an early state for the former vice president. Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum, and Asa Hutchinson, who withdrew his candidacy but remained on the ballot for this primary, they round out the top 9 just as they did last week. And with that, let's take a look at the counties in New Hampshire and how they're voting tonight. You can see the dark red is Donald Trump. He is winning in all but one county right now. Ron DeSantis holds a small advantage in Grafton County. That's home to Dartmouth College. It's the county with the highest percentage of college-educated voters in New Hampshire, a demographic that DeSantis performed especially well with in Iowa. It is, however, a sweep elsewhere for the former president. He has overperformed polling and appears well on his way to another massive primary victory here tonight. Alright, EP Official has a major projection to make right now. Donald Trump will win the New Hampshire Republican primary. This is the EP Official projection based on where the voters stand right now. It's a second consecutive primary win for the former president after his victory in the Iowa caucuses last week. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis trails Trump by over 21 percentage points. It's a dominant win indeed. Senator Scott finishes third again with 7.7%. He's followed closely by former Governor Chris Christie at 6.3% and Nikki Haley with 5.8%. 295,000 votes have been counted. That's already 10,000 votes above 2016's number, with just 90% of the vote reporting. Mike Pence appears likely to finish down here in 6th place with 4.3%. After a disappointing performance in Iowa, the former vice president's campaign has taken another hit. Vivek Ramaswamy is 7th with 4%. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is in 8th place. He's at 1.9%. As for the delegate allocation, only Trump and DeSantis will come away with delegates from the primary tonight. You need at least 10% of the vote to receive delegates in New Hampshire, and those delegates are awarded proportionally to each qualifying candidate based on their share of the statewide vote. The remaining delegates, then, are awarded to the candidate with the highest total, that being Donald Trump. The former president will pick up 17 of New Hampshire's 22 delegates. Ron DeSantis will add 5 to his own total. And taking a final look at the New Hampshire county map, it was a sweeping victory for Trump across the state as he takes another step closer to the nomination. An EP official can now report that former New Jersey governor and 2016 presidential candidate Chris Christie has suspended his campaign for president in 2024, just like he did in 2016 after New Hampshire. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum has also withdrawn his candidacy for the nomination, leaving just these 6 noteworthy candidates in the field. Trump leads the way with 36 delegates from the first 2 states. He's followed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 15 delegates. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott picked up 4 delegates in Iowa. He's in 3rd overall. Mike Pence and Nikki Haley both received 3 delegates in the Iowa caucuses, and they remain at 3 following New Hampshire. Finally, businessman Vivek Ramaswamy has 1 delegate, which he also received in Iowa. It's a heated race to reach the necessary delegate total to receive the Republican nomination and win the rights to take on Democratic President Joe Biden in November. All eyes now shift toward the state of Nevada, where Republicans are boycotting the recently signed into law state-organized primary to instead hold a party-run caucus on February 13th. Stay tuned as EP Official will return with coverage of that caucus. Let me know what other 2024 primary-related videos you would like to see in the future. I'd really appreciate it if you could like the video down below if you did, and subscribe while you're at it. Feel free to leave any comments, whether you agree or disagree. I read them all. You can check out more content from my channel here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. EP out.